Hello everyone, my name is Bonolo and I'm back again with a tutorial. This time around we'll be dealing with the two C's, namely cohesion and coherence. Now you're wondering, what am I talking about? Firstly, coherence simply means the quality of being logical and consistent, whilst cohesion on the other side means the forming of a complete unity or solidarity, right? Better explained, these two concepts basically embodies the ability to acquire skills of logic and order. Sentences or ideas ought to be connected in an orderly manner. The connection or relation of sentences must also make sense. Basically, order and sense is what is required of you, right? They make sure that ideas flow smoothly in a paragraph. Cohesion and coherence are one of the characteristics of a good paragraph. Meaning, if you want to write a good paragraph, you need to make sure that your sentences connect in a coherent and a cohesive manner, right? Meaning logically and in a way that makes sense. Order and sense is simply what these two concepts are about. Other definitions that will simply add on to this that we've been talking about. The first one says coherence, the way a text makes sense to the readers and writer through the relevance and accessibility of its configuration of concepts, ideas, and theories, right? Which is what I simply said. A third party or a reader reading something must be able to make sense of whatever he or she is reading without actually having multiple questions pop up in their mind, right? So cohesion, on the other hand, says the grammatical and lexical relationship between different elements of a text, which hold it together. Which says, which emphasizes the concept of unity, right? Meaning that they must connect to each other. They must stick. Your ideas must stick, right? That's why we have things called logical connectors to help us connect ideas, to unify our ideas or sentences, right? In a grammatical and orderly way, right? So here it says, if a text is cohesive, its elements are connected both in a grammatical and lexical means, using related words, linkers, pronouns, and determiners, right? If the text is coherent, the ideas are clearly put in a logical order and easy to follow, which also emphasizes what I've been telling you, that this basically means order and logic. All supporting ideas should support one topic or main idea, right? So now we have an example of a unified paragraph. It does reflect back on the tutorials we've had on coherence and cohesion, where we had to actually reshuffle sentences that were intentionally scrambles, right? So we had to reshuffle them to make sure that they are in the correct order and that they make sense, that they form a unified paragraph. Now we have an example of a unified paragraph, right? Here they are not scrambled, right? They're in the correct order and they're in a way that makes sense, right? So if we had to deal with a task of maybe reshuffling them, maybe say that sentence 2 was at sentence 4 and 3 was at 1 and 1 was at maybe 2, right? We would put them in this correct order because as you can see and as you can read or follow, the ideas follow in a logical manner, they make sense, and they're in order. They don't pop up any questions to the reader. The reason they don't build up any confusion within the reader, right? This is what is simply expected of you, right? To make sure that you can see logic and order in your own writings and in other writings as well. So here's a little joke, right? This is a like a board, notice board, which says, best sausage supper in St. Louis. Come and eat Pastor Thomas Wrestler. Right? Now you see that with this, the problem is the order, which simply brings me to my conclusionary sentence. If this was in the correct order, it would make better sense. Now it sounds like you must come and actually eat the the pasta, right? Which is really impossible. Now, with that being said, guys, thank you for your attention and goodbye.